45,000 people have lost their jobs in gaming industry since 2022, including developers, designers, artists, QA testers, community managers, writers, and more. All gone. And if you listen to internet, scroll through comments, or sit in any gaming Discord for more than 10 minutes, you'll hear the same thing over and over again. It's AI. AI is killing industry. Xbox just confirmed 3,200 more layoffs. Most significant restructure in Xbox's 25-year history. 1,600 people woke up last week to find out they no longer have a job, with another 1,600 to follow over the next 12 months. They've spent $20 billion on content and hardware in 5 years, and revenue shrank by nearly $500 million in the same period. 4 studios cut loose. Ninja Theory and Undead Labs spun out, while Compulsion and Double Fine have gone independent. And internet looked at all of that and said, bloody AI. Nah, mate, you're looking at wrong thing. Direct you lot. AI's easy to point at. It's new, it's scary, it does weird things to people's hands in pictures. And yeah, it's being used to replace workers. I'm not going to deny that. GDC 2026 State of Industry report says 52% of developers now believe AI is hurting industry. 36% of studios are actively using generative AI tools. Game designers got hit with a 20% layoff rate, highest of any discipline. Correlation's there, but correlation ain't causation. And if you actually read data instead of reacting to a headline, you'll see real story. AI is not why those people got fired. It's what got wheeled in after bodies hit floor, 'cause it's cheaper than hiring replacements. Decisions to fire them were made in a boardroom by people in suits, looking at a spreadsheet, trying to hit quarterly earnings target, and that target exists because of 3 companies most gamers have never heard of. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Between them, they manage over $30 trillion in assets and control roughly 74% of US equity ETF market. The largest shareholder in approximately 88% are S&P 500 companies and own significant chunks of every major publicly traded publisher. And it don't stop at publishers. Alphabet, company who owns YouTube. Vanguard holds over 516 million Class A shares. BlackRock holds over 430 million. Amazon, company that owns Twitch, $153 billion from BlackRock alone. These 3 firms sit behind publishers, platforms, storefronts, and streaming services. They're not telling Activision what colour to paint a loot box, because they don't need to. They set financial conditions, demand quarterly growth, expect returns, and when those returns don't materialise, publishers panic. They cut staff, greenlight any old rubbish that fills a slot on a release calendar, because they need product to generate revenue, and they need revenue to keep investors happy. That's how you got Concord. Game Sony reportedly spent 8 years and $200 million on, only for it to last just 12 days. Nobody in that approval chain played it, or asked if gamers actually wanted a hero shooter with personality or wet flannel. Somebody looked at a pitch deck, saw live service and recurring revenue written on it, and said, yeah, make it, 'cause money needs to flow. Skull and Bones, Redfall, iGuard, Suicide Squad. How many more examples do you need? These aren't creative failures, just financial ones, meant to fill quarterly slots, rushed out to meet investor expectations by teams that were overworked, understaffed, and told to get it done regardless. Then when game flops, more people get fired, and AI gets blamed. Again. But while you're busy arguing about whether ChatGPT is going to ruin concept art, your government is quietly slipping in legislations that actively dismantle infrastructure you use every single day. UK's Online Safety Act's already live. Xbox, PlayStation and Steam have all rolled out mandatory age verification for UK players. Ofcom has already issued over 2.3 million quid in fines across more than 90 investigations, and it's working exactly as you'd expect. Proton VPN sign-ups from UK surged over 1,400% on night Act came into force. People signed a petition called for repeal. Discord's age verification rollout caused such a backlash that users crashed TeamSpeak's servers trying to find an alternative, especially after Discord's own verification partner leaked 70,000 user IDs back in October 2025. People are walking away from the favourite games because they refuse to hand the personal data to corporations that have already proven they can't be trusted with it. And across pond, Americans are doing the same thing. Kids Act just passed US House on June 29th, 267-217. It bundles together 14 digital safety proposals, including a revised version at COSA, Kids Online Safety Act. That package includes specific provisions targeting interactive video game platforms, age verification mandates, restrictions on messaging for under 13s, limits on disappearing messages for under 17s. EFF has raised concerns that Act's obligations could force all users to submit personal information to verify their age. It's heading to Senate now. Most gamers have absolutely no idea it even exists. You'll boycott a game over a bad microtransaction, review bomb something because a character's face looks a bit different, but you won't write to your MP or push back on legislation that's stripping your access rights, invading your privacy, and putting your personal data at risk. I talked about Memory Cartel last week. 3 companies, Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron, control over 95% of global DRAM production. And they've decided collectively that your RAM's worth less to them than Nvidia's next data center order. They've shifted wafer production towards high bandwidth memory, HBM, because AI customers pay 3 to 5 times more per wafer than consumer memory brings in. Micron literally killed its consumer brand, Crucial, in February, to focus entirely on data center product. Nvidia has slashed gaming GPU production by 30 to 40% because of GDDR7 shortages. Console prices are going up mid-generation for the first time in history, because memory inside your PlayStation or your Series X is now competing with AI accelerators backed by companies willing to pay whatever it costs. And now, 17 plaintiffs filed a Sherman Act lawsuit against all 3 manufacturers, accusing them of coordinating to restrict supply and inflate prices, using HBM shift as cover to wind down cheaper consumer production. And these same companies pleaded guilty to criminal DRAM price fixing between 2002 and 2006, paid over $700 million in fines, and one Samsung executive went to prison. So when someone says this shortage might be artificially manufactured, precedent is literally in court records. But sure, blame ChatGPT. Make it make sense. Here's bigger picture. Big 3 investors squeeze publishers for quarterly returns. Publishers fire staff and greenlight alt that fills a revenue slot. AI gets wheeled in as cheap backfill. Quality drops. Players walk away. Revenue falls. But investors still demand more returns. Governments pile on with legislation that strips features, invades privacy, gives players another reason to walk away. Memory Cartel, with a criminal record, uses AI demand as justification to price gouge every piece of hardware you own. And through all of it, gaming community is laser focused on one tiny, shiny object sitting on ground, completely oblivious to massive bloody alien mothership descending from sky directly above their heads. Ubisoft down 95% from its 2018 peak, trading at €5.56. Market cap under 850 million. Net bookings down 17% year on year. They had to sell a quarter of the crown jewels to Tencent just to avoid breaching their own debt covenants. EA went private in a $55 billion deal, bankrolled by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund and Jared Kushner's affinity partners, with $20 billion in leveraged debt and zero public accountability going forward. Xbox is gutting a fifth of its workforce while still turning over $23.5 billion a year in gaming revenue. This isn't an AI problem at all. It's just latest tool system used to extract more money while delivering less product. You want to be angry? Aim it at rate target. Push back on Online Safety Act. Push back on Kids Act. Demand transparency from publishers about how investment pressure shapes their development decisions. Support independent developers who fund through Kickstarter, early access, or self-funding, because they answer to people who actually play the games, not to a boardroom full of people who couldn't tell you the difference between a shader and a sandwich. GDC 2026 data shows 21% of developers are now working independently, 32% have shifted to indie studios, and half of all developers are self-funding their projects. Talent ain't vanishing, it's just leaving. Because smartens can see exactly what's coming. AAA model's eating itself, and when it finally collapses under weight of its own greed, only people left standing will be ones who didn't need a $30 trillion investment firm to tell them what game to make. Wake up, Stop staring at coin op floor and look up. Time to start paying attention to things that's actually about to land on you. And if you like this video, YouTube says you'll like this and next. So go check that out, and I'll see you there, you magnificent.